Let's talk about my tattoo apprenticeship horror story. So, the place that I worked at was basically an apprentice mill, which is basically when they have apprenticeships for the sake of apprenticeships and not because they're trying to teach people how to tattoo. My boss basically hired anyone, and he literally told me this, that he hired anyone, regardless if they were good at art or anything, and if they made it, it was up to them. But the philosophy behind this was that they would clean for free for him and do free labor, and if they made it, it's up to them. So he literally hired somebody with hand trimmers that literally didn't know how to draw at all. Couldn't make a straight, like, unshaky line with a pencil. There was no way that he was going to be a tattoo artist within a year at all. Like, he was not being realistic with this guy and basically just using him for free labor. But he did this with everybody. He would just use them for free labor. And unless you literally did all of the work to learn how to tattoo yourself, you would not know how to tattoo. I did all of it myself. And you know what? I never met my mentor until the day that I tattooed somebody for the first time. Like an actual real person, like real life skin for the first time is the day I met him. And then he berated me for not knowing how to set up. Sir, like, I had asked questions, but nobody there was really teaching me anything. They were answering my questions here and there, but I didn't really know what questions to ask because I had never done this before. And they were telling me what to do and stuff, but then they were getting mad whenever I didn't know what to do. But no one told me anything because I literally barely had a mentor. I mean, I got a free tattoo out of it, which is nice, but Jesus. And don't sign no-compete contracts. Like, the reason I'm making this video is because another creator had a similar story and it made me think about it. But oh my god, yeah, a lot of these tattoo shops are just like this. Because my story is from Houston, Texas, and this person was from, like, the Northeast. But he had me sign a contract basically saying that I couldn't work at another tattoo shop within a year. So that was great. And the reason I worked there is because I felt like I had no other options because it was really easy to get an apprenticeship there, and it's not very easy to get an apprenticeship in general. But don't do that. It's not worth it. Obviously, I've, like, grown a lot from that because, like, I actually did a lot of the work myself, but it's not worth it. You deserve someone teaching you how to tattoo. Like, whenever people would come in trying to get an apprenticeship, whenever I was still apprenticing there, I would tell them, like, straight up, don't work here. It's literally not worth it. Please, I'm telling you. He's not a good person. Not to mention, like, just straight up misogyny, homophobia right in front of my face, right in front of the clients. And, like, I can put up with that, like, directed towards me, or even directed, like, not towards me, but in front of me. But when it comes to a thing where it affects my clients, that is, like, a problem, honestly. It would literally say, like, women should not be working, they should only be raising children and be in the kitchen while I'm working for him, like. But the homophobia in general just runs rampant in the tattoo industry. It's kind of ridiculous and wild how, like, okay everyone is with it. But that's why for queer people I really recommend going to a queer artist individually, because you really never know, and it's not okay to put yourself in an unsafe situation, really. So be careful, really be careful. But yeah, even, like, after we would, like, finish our apprenticeships, he would, like, drag us along just because he, like, wanted free labor, etc. I'm pretty sure I spoke to him a total of, like, 20 times. I'm basically, the reason that I, like, became the artist I am now is because there was a few people that I worked with that had been tattooing for, like, 20 years, and I was able to ask them a lot of questions because they were, like, super nice to me. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't know, like, most of the stuff that I know now. Honestly, I'm so grateful. But they should have gotten, like, paid for that, honestly, because my mentor did not mentor. But, yeah, if they're not, like, he looked at my portfolio, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I thought it was good at the time, but it really wasn't, so. But, like, at the time, I thought that I needed him to look at my portfolio to get the job. No. He looked at anyone's portfolio that would give it to him, but he would just give anyone the job. As long as you looked like you were easy to walk all over. So, please be careful in these apprenticeships. I promise you guys, they don't care about you. They're using you for your labor. They're using you for your money. They're going to drag out your apprenticeship as long as they possibly can, and they're not going to teach you anything. That is not okay. Because a lot of these stories, to me, sound really, really, really similar. And yeah, socially they have terrible views. They use you for your labor, and they don't care about you. There's other ways to get an apprenticeship, especially if you're in a bigger city like I am. If not, I understand. but it's just really rough out here. I'm sorry, guys. Also, the piercing apprentice was like mad aggressive and started like yelling at me one day. I just didn't like the way that she was coming at me and stuff. Like, she had no authority over me, right? So I text my mentor and I was like, hey, like, I don't know what her problem is. She can ask me to do whatever, like, that's fine. But the way that she's coming at me is like completely not okay. If she has a problem with me, I'm gonna tell her to come to you in the future because that's not right. So I tell her that and she freaks the hell out. I didn't call you out of your name. I didn't call you. Girl, I don't care. Clearly, you're not a person that I want to be around and you don't understand autism. You're not well informed. You need help. It was just like never that serious. I was just asking her to respect my boundaries and she freaked the fuck out on me. So, I stood up for myself because that's what you have to do in the tattoo industry. You can't just let people walk all over you like that. And I was like, no, girl, that's not happening. You're not going to treat me like that, period. And she tried to keep telling me what to do, and I literally just stopped letting her tell me what to do. I was like, you can tell the boss to tell me what to do. That's it. But people will literally walk all over you, and you literally... I honestly I'm so serious when I say this. Like, I don't mean this in any rude way at all. I think you should try to build your skin in ways like serving, other customer service jobs, whatever it takes for you. Therapy, whatever, but you should not be a tattoo artist, not yet at least. Take your time if you haven't built up a thick enough skin to deal with stuff like this, because it is very complicated and people in this industry are very toxic. A lot of people in the tattoo industry, like 99% of us, have messed up childhoods, and most of them haven't actually worked on their childhood issues or any of their problems, which is totally fine. Like, none of that bothers me. But whenever you're dealing with issues like this, it causes conflict because some people aren't able to respect your boundaries when that's not that hard to do in the first place. You know what I mean? But when that happens, you need to stand up for yourself, because if you don't, they're just going to continue to push you over. It's problematic. So unlearn your pushover ways before looking into getting an apprenticeship. I'm so serious when I say that. And favoritism is also a big problem. If there's a toxic person at your workplace, but the boss loves her, they're never going away. Also, sanitization, like, if you're in an apprenticeship, some people that I was working around would use cloth aprons and wouldn't wash them. Okay, ew. Also, I forgot to even mention that halfway through my apprenticeship, the boss sold the location that I was working at, because there was 3 locations. He sold the one I was working at to his friend, but he said, don't worry, like, they're gonna still keep you around as an apprentice. A month later, they fired me as an apprentice. But, like, luckily, I guess, he let me work at one of his other shops. But, yeah, like, nothing he said was ever set in stone, literally ever. And whenever I moved to that other shop is whenever I had to start dealing with that piercer who was really mean and rude for no reason and walked all over me for no reason. Because, mind you, at that shop that I had worked at before, I was the only apprentice at that shop, running that shop basically by myself, because I was doing all the front desk work for the most part other than the piercer, and then I was doing the cleaning work. So she really shouldn't have had a problem with me. She was just being rude. And also, by moving to the other shop, I lost all of, like, the really cool mentor people that I had that I was asking all the good questions to. I mean, I did move to a shop where there was people that were my age that had similar, like, struggles as me, which was nice, but it was just a lot, you know? This is why I tell you guys, because I made a video in the past saying, please look into the people that you're going to apprentice under before you do it, but I just accepted all of this because I really wanted an apprenticeship and I thought it was worth it at the time, but I think it's way more worth it just to, like, pay more money or wait a little bit more time or just get another apprenticeship, because it's not worth it to put up with all this. And I literally had to do most of the work to learn this stuff myself, even though I was in an apprenticeship, which is ridiculous. But yeah.